How's it going, everyone? Today we'll be trying out the new hero Falcon for the first time, trying to take down the Black Widow scenario on heroic difficulty as I continue trying to beat every scenario in the game on heroic difficulty using a different hero. This is a matchup I've been really excited for ever since Falcon was spoiled, because Falcon's gimmick is being able to look at the top card of the encounter deck at any time or play with it face up. And Black Widow, her main mechanic is interacting with the top card of the deck as well. So might sound at first glance like this is really gaming this scenario, but this is kind of what I like to do is find these really fun matchups, and then if you're playing on heroic difficulty, I mean, it's still not going to be a trivial game at all. So we'll do a scenario breakdown in just a little bit, or you can skip right to the game if that's what you're interested in. The deck I'm playing today is an aerial focused deck. It's got honed technique and dive bomb in there as well. I would say the emphasis is more on just Falcon being natively aerial than it is on, getting honed technique in play. But I'm playing aggression today, partly because, I think this matchup is winnable, and aggression is the aspect I'm kind of lagging behind in as I try to balance out all of my games for this challenge across the different aspects. So this seemed like a good opportunity to try to use aggression. It also is a good opportunity to just use dive bomb, right? Because we can only play it if our identity is aerial. Falcon, one of the very few heroes in the game who is just automatically aerial on his hero side. And of course, whenever we attack Black Widow, we get to do the thing where we discard the top card of our deck and remove threat from the main scheme. So the biggest challenge with aggression in solo, especially heroic solo, is managing threat on the main scheme. But I'm optimistic that this gives me a way to do what aggression does well, which is play these efficient attack cards while still keeping a healthy amount of protection on the main scheme due to Black Widow's ability. So we've got a whole bunch of allies. I mean, this is kind of where our thwarting comes from when we're playing solo aggression. So lots of the staples here. I've been tuning this deck a little bit, so all the help I can get on the thwarting end. Both of the Nick Furies. Cannonball is a great aerial payoff card. Mockingbird, Professor X, Psylocke, getting those confuses is absolutely huge so that we can steal some turns in Alter Ego or just protect us towards the end of the game from scheming out to an advance. Wasp as well is another aerial ally. Conveniently gets her energies paid for by Falcon's Flock, which we can tutor up with Sam's ability on Alter Ego side. And then I'm playing the new Winter Soldier ally as well. Extremely powerful ally after he attacks and defeats an enemy. Remove 2 threats from a scheme. So speaking of threat removal and aggression, that's a new interesting way to do that. So then the aerial cards that we can play in aggression, we've got 3 dive bomb, 3 pitchback. There's also bombs away, but I think that one is a little bit worse, a little harder to have work out. So if we're playing dive bomb, we might as well play honed technique, which can make this an absolute powerhouse. We've got a good amount of minions in this scenario that this can help to clean up while pushing damage on Black Widow. Hopefully we can set up for a big burst towards the end of the game. One way to play around advance is just to end the game as quickly as possible. Give yourself as few chances to see that as you can. So just to round it out, we've got a couple resource generators, Quinn Carrier, Hall of Heroes. Falcon doesn't come with great resource generation. I mean, we've got Falcon's Flock, which is tutorable, but it can only pay for aerial cards. A lot of our aerial cards are kind of late game cards with the attacks and the dive bombs. So I'm a little worried on the resource perspective, but so that's why we got Quinn Carrier, and Hall of Heroes a little worse, but I think there's enough minions where we can justify that. And then 3 copies of Power of Flight. So kind of in line with that, where we don't have a ton of great permanent resource generators, but that means we have a better opportunity to make use of these double resource generators without having all these kind of awkward turns. So we've got a lot of things that this can pay for in Falcon's deck with a couple of our allies, right? Dive Bomb, obviously, these events, Falcon's Flock. And because especially with the Birds of a Feather ability on Sam's side, even if we don't have a target to pay for this yet, we can go find Red Wing, for example, and make use of the double resource. And then just a couple copies of Bring It. In the Black Widow scenario, we've got the AIM Scientist. modular set, so there's some of those minions that kind of that spawn out the aim scientist as well. So there's 2 minions in play. So just a good solid card draw card here. All right, so that's what we've got for the deck. We got to keep an eye on thwart. I mean, that's really going to be the major concern. But where possible, hopefully we can do lots of our thwarting by just attacking Black Widow and using her ability. This is probably a little bit better deck outside of solo where someone else can help with the thwarting, but we'll see if it's good enough here today. Let's talk about the scenario. So I like to talk about the scenario a little bit, just in case you're less familiar with it, and maybe to give some tips on how you might want to try to take down Black Widow yourself on an advanced difficulty. So we've only got one main scheme, and then it increments each turn by Black Widow's stage number. So already this is a pretty significant amount of pressure, because in expert mode it's going up 2 each turn. By the time we get to stage 3, it's going up 3 each turn. So it's very often just going to be 1 advance away from ending the game. It starts with a bit extra threat as well. So Black Widow will put 2 threat on from stage 2, and then when we reveal stage 3, she puts another 3 threat on. And then both stages have this forced interrupt. When a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So that's part of the... Okay, well, assuming you have a threat to remove, you do the following, which is discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. So this is the part, right, that's really exploitable with Falcon, because we're always going to know what the top card is, so we can play around these preparations if we want to. And pretty much every one of her, well, with the exception of these side schemes here, every one of her own encounter cards has some preparation ability. And then we're playing with just the recommended modular sets, Aim Science and Aim Abduction. So in our case, it's going to be weird because we're always going to see what's coming. But it's really, really important to know, if you're trying to optimize for this matchup, what the various preparation effects you could get are. So one of the worst ones is attack acrobatics, prevent all damage from this attack. In expert mode, deal that much damage to the attacking character. So that can literally make you go from, all right, I'm swinging web kicking Black Widow for 8, oops, I took 8 and I died. So that is kind of a nightmare one. Dance of Death, deal 1 damage to each character you control, so be careful with your allies there. Covert Ops, place 1 threat on each scheme. Grappling Hook, discard 1 event card from hand. I mean, the ones that there's only one of, it's a bit tough to like play around every single one of these, I suppose. Aim Grunt is probably another big one. Put this minion into play, engage with you, then resolve this attack against Aim Grunt instead. So that can really slow you down, especially if you're trying to rush at the end of the game. And then Aim Commando is this quick strike minion. After this attack, put this minion into play, engaged with you. A couple side schemes here, which don't have preparations, but give some other kind of effect. So really, the most important thing with playing Black Widow is like just do your thwarting first, right? This ability doesn't trigger if there's no threat to remove on the main scheme. So if we just put all our efforts towards thwarting first before we even attack, then we don't have to worry about that at all. So it's easier in a solo game, and like in a multiplayer game, like it can be harder on the first. So you're playing a 4-player game, the first or second player of the turn might have a hard time getting this down to 0 by themselves. So then it gets kind of interesting with how much a risk you want to take with attacking Black Widow. But some of these you just got to know what is possible to get, like attack acrobatics really being the worst one. We've got a good amount of minions in this scenario overall, so that's another reason I like the aggression matchup here. But Aim Science and Aim Abduction both have a handful of minions. It's cool Abduct Superhuman side scheme where in theory it could actually help us a little bit. So Nabbed, we'll put this into play, and then we tuck an ally under it, and then when this is defeated, we put each ally tucked here into play under its owner's control. So that can actually give us some like 4-cost allies for 3. It makes it harder to thwart down, but if we can high roll that's be a good thing in terms of our path to victory. And then Aim Soldier, Aim Scientist, they're a little tricky here. So Aim Soldier's got Patrol, and then spawns the Aim Scientist, which can't be attacked while we're engaged with another minion. So this is the card that gets out 2 minions, so like Bring It or Hall of Heroes are just pretty good cards against that modular set. Okay, I guess a couple other of these particular encounter cards that I should mention. Covert Ops, really bad one. When revealed, you are confused and Black Widow schemes. So that's an extra 2 advances to play around. We're already really on the edge when it comes to threat on the main scheme. And then Dance of Death, this is a brutal one. Deal 1 damage to a character you control, deal 2 damage to a second character you control, deal 3 damage to a third character you control. So a rules thing that's important to know is if you don't have a second or a third character, you skip those lines. So first turn of the game, actually, this might not be a bad encounter card. Just deal 1 damage to your hero, maybe. But later in the game, this might be kill 2 of your allies and do some more damage to your hero. So this is one I hope to play around a little bit. And then Attack Acrobatics, not too bad, but it is an extra attack activation, so we always want to count our opportunities for extra activations in the deck. Gives Black Widow an additional boost card as well, so always want to have a block ready if you can. Okay, so with that, we've talked about the deck, we've talked about the scenario. Hope you enjoyed this match of Falcon versus Black Widow on heroic difficulty. Okay, to start things off, we resolve the setup ability on main scheme 1A, search the encounter deck for a minion, put it into play, engage with them. So we'll pick the Aim Scientist, just the easiest to kill here. And then nothing special on 1B, but then Black Widow is going to add an extra 2 threat. So we'll start with 4 threat on the main scheme. And again, that'll go up by 2 every turn since we're on stage 2 of the villain. Aim Scientist is the easiest choice by a lot here. It's a bad draw from the encounter deck because it has Surge, and it just takes 1 activation to kill. There's some 3 health minions in this deck that wouldn't be that bad, but 2 is certainly less than 3. So our opening hand, we'd really like, maybe Professor X might be like the best thing to draw. Get it confused so we can flip down next turn as soon as possible. Almost certainly we'll be setting up Falcon's Flock. So we'll have a resource generator going. Might not have room to fit in a second one. Actually, Winter Soldier is probably one of the best draws we could get as well. All right, start it off. Okay. Dive Bomb is easy mulligan. This is an easy mulligan. I mean, Bring It will cycle itself for 1. The rest are interesting. I think Talon Line's going to be better if we get like Cannonball out later. Talon Line's kind of interesting with Nick Fury just because it's another character that is nice to ready. But it's going to be hard to play an aerial card in addition to that other stuff. And then Red Wings, honestly, just not that great a play. We might as well try to mulligan for something else, since we can always find it with Birds of a Feather. I guess this is only a once per round, so we will still probably get the Flock with it. But I'm inclined to keep Nick. Nick would be just a very strong play this turn. Give us a tough, give us a block, or just draw some cards. So I'll mulligan these 5. Okay, very interesting. So let's play this out a bit. Say we go get Falcon's Flock, pay for it. I could spend 4 on Nick. Or I could spend 3 on Winter Soldier and waste a resource. Don't think Hone Technique is the play yet. It's a good mid-game card to help us turn the corner to push damage at the end, but it doesn't help us stay alive really at all. The other option is like Nick, draw 2 cards and play Winter Soldier. There's some cards in the encounter deck that kind of embarrass a tough status, like Widow's Bite, dealing 1 damage and stunning. I mean, it's nice to get Falcon's Flock out, but I wouldn't be using it this turn. Let's try this. I've been, in some of my practice games, it's actually not trivial to use up Falcon's Flock every time. Let's just think a second. Since I've got Power of Flight, maybe, is there any world where I get Red Wing? I could discard this for Red Wing, pay for Red Wing, get Nick Fury with a Tough. So I either get Nick Fury, Red Wing, and a Tough, or I get Nick Fury and Winter Soldier. I mean, Winter Soldier is really good. I think I'm just going to get Winter Soldier. All right, let's pay 3, or sorry, not 3. Let's pay 4 for Nick Fury, Senior, and draw 2 cards. Nothing changes there. Pay 3 for Winter Soldier. Let's flip, see what's on top. So Winter Soldier will attack and clear the AIM Scientist. When he defeats a minion, we remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Let's have Nick Fury Sr. attack. So here's one of those opportunities where we know we don't have a preparation on top, so we get a free kind of 1 threat removed from the main scheme, in addition to the 2 damage. See what's next. Now this is a preparation, but it's not that bad, honestly. Place 1 threat on each scheme. So Falcon will attack again. We will trigger her thing. So we remove this, but then the preparation puts 1 back on. Okay, so we could have got this down to 0. I could have just thwarted it twice, but we still got it down to 1 and stole 4 damage. So or I guess I could have attacked once and thwarted once, but yeah. I think trading 4 damage for 1 threat, even this early in the game, is probably worth it. And especially if I can buy myself a flip down to Alter Ego this turn, that would be the ideal case. So we get 2 threat on the main scheme. I guess technically I'll get to see what this is. Nick Sr. was going to block anyways, but so 2 threat there. Black Widow attacks, Nick Fury Sr. blocks, and we're happy to see Shadow of the Past out of the way. And then 2 encounter cards. Black Widow's Gauntlet gives her Retaliate, and then we can discard that if we don't resolve a preparation when we attack. And then Widow's Bite, so actually that Tough would have looked really bad, so we're going to get stunned and take 1 damage. All right, start the turn, see what's on top. So another Widow's Bite. Would be a nice encounter card to draw just because it's only 2 damage. We can make the stun be redundant. So the only way I would draw that as my encounter card is if I play Mockingbird. And that would actually make Mockingbird the only thing I play. So I'm not sure if I'll do that. Some awkwardness with the resources. Because Birds of a Feather, we have to discard from hand, right? It's not just spending a resource. So I can't just go I can't just go Quinn Carrier and use that resource to use Birds of a Feather. I could use my whole hand if I do Bird's Eye View and Hall of Heroes, but I honestly think that might be weaker than just playing Mockingbird. So Falcon could thwart this down to 1. It'll go up to 3 on step 1. Black Widow will scheme for 4 up to 7. Mockingbird could thwart it down to 6. Could lose to an advance or a covert ops. Or I just stay in hero form. We tread water for a little bit. Okay, I think I do like staying in hero form because I do like this as an actual encounter card. So the question is what to keep in hand. I'm leaning towards Bird's Eye View just because thwarting is just kind of the hardest thing to come by. Power of Flight would be kind of efficient since I can go get one of the bird cards in Alter Ego next turn. I think I just need to keep Bird's Eye View. So let's pay 3 for Mockingbird. Stun Black Widow. Thwart for 3. Well, okay, I forgot I was thwarting for 3 for a second. Maybe I'll keep something else in hand. You know, actually I think this is still good to keep. Like if the second card is a side scheme or something, or if we get an extra scheme, I think this is actually good. So we're thwarting for 3 here. Save Winter Soldier to kill some minions and end the turn. Okay, Battlefield Awareness, one of the really good cards I think in this, well, just for Falcon. So 2 threat on the main scheme. Black Widow is stunned. And then we get 2 encounter cards. First is Widow's Bite. You are stunned. Take 2 damage if you were already stunned. So, very happy to see that. And look, there we go. There's a covert ops. So we are confused. Black Widow schemes for 2 plus a boost of 1. Let's see what's on top. 1 boost icon. I could get 1 reroll with Battlefield Awareness. So let's exhaust to remove confusion. I could skip Battlefield Awareness and go get Falcon's Flock, or I guess I could get Red Wing instead. Don't love attacking here because of that retaliate. Maybe wish I hadn't thwarted that one with Mockingbird last turn. Okay, I can always adapt a little bit. So I can make sure, well, I think I need to just do this. Well, I guess the counter argument is if I Battlefield Awareness, I might shuffle into maybe a 2 boost icon card. But I'm just going to take the one that I know for sure. So I'm going to bird's eye view for 3 plus 1 here. So 4 threat off the main scheme. See what we've got before deciding whether or not to use eagle-eyed. And I think I will, because on average I think we should see less than 2 boost icons. So let's discard that, see what's next. Another 2. So I do have the battlefield awareness. I wouldn't have to go. I mean, I don't desperately need to go to alter ego. It's going to put kind of a lot of threat on. So let's just play battlefield awareness. And then I've got a block lined up, so I'm not going to worry about discarding exhaustion. Mockingbird's just going to thwart for 1. So hopefully next turn we'll get to alter ego and end the turn. Ooh, up, and away is a nice draw. We'll get to net 1 card out of that at least. So 2 threat on the main scheme. Black Widow attacks. She'll be dealt this as a boost card. Mockingbird will defend, I guess. I don't know if it's dealt or we defend first, but actually that is a good question. Okay, so I actually need to check that. Is this dealt before we declare a defender? I'll pause the video, shuffle when I get back, so you know I'm not doing any tricks. Okay, so I do need to play up, and away after the boost is dealt, and that is before the opportunity to defend with either a hero's basic defense or with an ally defend. So because this is a response to the attacking enemy being given the boost card, that makes us, and then it's defense traded, so that makes Falcon the defender right away, and once one character is defending, other characters cannot defend. Which I guess keeps, I mean, maybe I suppose that's the spirit of the card, right? If you want to take a worse attack, you've got to, or if you want to draw more cards, you've got to take a worse attack. So we knew this was the top anyways. That I guess I actually should think about if I still want to do that, because it is going to be a direct attack. I mean, Dance of Death is like atrociously bad if I pull that. It is just up a card. How's the hand look? I've got a lot of attacks that won't be happening because I'm stunned. So maybe I actually just need to draw something I can play. I mean, I can attack, but like I have to exhaust and then play like Bird of Prey plus Pitchback would have to be the turn. Or I can go play Falcon's Flock, but that is going to waste some cards. Just playing this alone is not using a basic power. And there's no reason I couldn't make a defense as well. Oh, I shuffled that. I gotta shuffle this. I guess I don't know what the top card of the deck is yet. Oh, but I will from up, and away. Well, that's kind of clever. Okay, I'm gonna get maybe slightly greedy. And man, even now that I say it, I still Still don't really like it. I think I'd rather just block with Mockingbird. So Mockingbird takes this as a boost. 2 encounter cards. All right, Nabbed is going to find Abduct Superhumans. And we'll discard cards from the top of your deck until an ally is discarded. Tuck it under there, add threat equal to that ally's cost, and put 1 acceleration token on Abduct Superhumans. So hopefully Falcon can thwart for a lot this turn. With a high boost icon on top. All right. Okay, well, the good news is this is very easy to clear. The bad news is we don't get anything out of killing it. So we'll put 0 extra threat on. But, you know, all things considered, that's a pretty easy encounter card still to beat. But it could have helped us. It could have helped us get like Nick Fury into play or something. And then Stun Net, we cannot attack, exhaust a character you control to discard this card. All right, let's see what's on top. Wow, 3 boost icon card. But, I mean, don't really have anything to do with that. Unless well, okay, so we exhaust Winter Soldier to discard Stun Net. So I could thwart this to clear it, but then I'm basically doing nothing, spending this to play Bird of Prey. Yeah, so I gotta remove my stun. But now we've got a heck of an attack. It's a little awkward because this is actually going to get discarded before we see what the boost icons that are going to be counted for this are, right? It's interrupt to when a character you control attacks Black Widow. So, right, that's going to happen first, then we resolve it. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, like I said, I don't really have any other options, so we're going to Bird of Prey as an interrupt, drop a threat, and discard this. No preparations. So this will be discarded after we resolve the Retaliate. So let's have a look what's on top. Wow, lucky there. So 3 boost icons. So this is an attack for 4 plus 3, which is 7. Brings Black Widow down to 5. So we get retaliated for 1. This goes away. And I'd like to keep that on top because now I'm going to play a Pitchback, which is another attack, which will discard this from the top, remove 1 threat, and then deal 4 damage. Let's see what's on top. 0 boost is phenomenal to see, so that'll give me a relatively safe flip down, and I will not use Eagle-Eyed on that one. Okay, end the turn there. Very unusual for I mean, this is kind of what I was going for with this matchup, but I've hardly ever done this much damage to the villain at this point in my games. Wow, lots of good options here. I mean, four incredible ally options to play. So 3 threat on the main scheme because we've got an acceleration from here. Black Widow schemes for 2 with a boost of 0. And in theory, we could scheme out with an advance plus a triple boost, but That would be quite unlucky. All right, well, all of a sudden we really have to deal with our obligation. So we'll have to spend 3 resources on that. And then Under Fire is going to Dance of Death. So let's deal 1 damage to Winter Soldier and 2 damage to Sam. Then Under Fire number 2 is Aim Commando, which does not Quick Strike because we're in Alter Ego. All right, so desperately need to spend 3 resources here. So just math it out here. If I play Nick Fury, well, I guess I'd really like to play Psylocke, but then I don't have 3 resources to spend. Could maybe be Professor X. Got Professor X and then 3 more. It would be nice to have Winter Soldier kill this. I won't get that unless there's another attack, which Nick could do. Let's double check here. So we've got Advance, Covert Ops. Oh, I forgot about this one. Okay, so there's only 1 more advance in the deck. So if we think a couple turns down the road, might have a decently safe flip back. The Confuse from Professor X goes so far towards stopping us from losing, but it's not what I need right now. Now that I think about it again, Bucky's ready to block. So makes me more inclined to want to kill this with either Falcon or something else. So I'm leaning towards Nick. Don't think Cannonball is going to be good right now. So we play Nick and then draw 3 more. So we'll have 5 total cards. Gotta spend 3. Checking doubles here. Okay, so we've still got Strength in the deck. So I've got a 3 and 4 chance to hit Strength, which would let me play Nick, discard 3, and then play a 2-cost card. So just in case I don't hit it, let's keep Pitchback. Let's start by paying 4 for Nick, drawing 3 cards. We did get Strength. How crazy can I get with Soup Kitchen here? Pay 1 for Soup Kitchen. Well, it would work if I could use Strength to remove 2 counters from Harlem's Protector, because I could play Falcon's Flock for free and then have 3 resources here. But it's not going to work out like that. Right, okay. So 3 times, I'm going to spend 1 resource to remove an emergency counter from here. This has victory 0, so that'll get removed from the game. Now there's a small chance that I actually want to get Red Wing instead of Falcon's flock. Reason being, I've got a thwart for 2. No, okay, I think not. As long as I get a boost icon at the top so that this buffs me to an attack of 3, I'll be happy. We don't get to play around advance this turn, which is a bummer. But let's flip, see what's on top. So we've got a boost icon there, so I can take out the aim commando. There's a world where I leave aim commando alive and thwart more on the main scheme. "16 cards, one of them is in advance." That's just making, I don't want to, it doesn't feel like I should be playing around that. All right, let's attack aim commando using battlefield awareness to add 1, so it's an attack for 3. See what's on top. Aim soldier. Let's play Falcon's flock. Not really a need to discard aim soldier. It's going to be a boost card. We're blocking anyways. It's no more or less likely that we get advanced if we do cycle the card. Yeah, I'm committed to this line. I mean, there's a small world where I should just thwart the main scheme, because that's worth 1 more threat in the near term. So I think, I mean, she probably technically comes into play, but and she's got 0 hit points, so she's dead. And we got an extra encounter card turn here as well, so good luck to us. Oh, I guess, okay, that didn't occur to me. But this is actually a pretty nice, well, it's not that bad of an encounter card. So that's getting dealt to us. Okay, I'm gonna give myself a second, because now that I remember that's happening, I could re-roll that if I want. But no, I mean, what if that card is an advance or something? So yeah, we'll deal that one. So 2 threat on the main scheme for step 1. Okay, so we did step 1. Nick Fury is going to block this attack for 3. Nick Fury dies. And 3 total encounter cards. So Aim Soldier is going to make us find Aim Scientist and put it into play. That's got Patrol, which is actually pretty annoying. So we'll have to see what I can do about that. Black Widow's Gauntlet again, and another AIM soldier. So if AIM Scientist did not enter play this way, place 1 threat on the main scheme. Okay, we did not get advanced, but I've got very low ability to thwart the main scheme. So let's think. Aerial Recon's a decent card. Well, I mean, I need to thwart at least 1 no matter what, because we're at 8. I'm not going to remove any if I don't kill both of these. Okay, sorry, I gotta check. Okay, I gotta do another pause and I gotta check the wording on patrol. I can't remember if it's we can't thwart the main scheme. I think it's just we can't thwart, because crisis is that we can't thwart, or that it can't be removed. Okay, I just need to double check the patrol ruling, shuffle again when I get back. Okay, it was as I thought. So we can still remove threat from the main scheme, but we cannot thwart the main scheme. So Bucky's ability could still remove threat from the main scheme, as could Nick Fury Sr.'s enter play ability. So it's kind of I mean, this assault is actually pretty bad. If that was even a single boost icon, it would let Falcon solo kill one of these AIM soldiers. Can't attack the AIM Scientist because we are engaged with other minions. I mean, Aerial Recon can reshuffle cards around. But then I don't have a resource to play Nick with. Well, I mean, I need to thwart this for 2 no matter what. That will be accomplished by Nick, at the very least. Can't play around advance, I don't think. Yet again. Yeah, all things considered, I think Nick is still just the best play. Like the microweave. I mean, otherwise I could play the recon and microweave. The microweave is kind of low impact. Okay, pay 4 for Nick. My current crazy idea is to give Winter Soldier a tough status. So that it could clear something, remove threat, and stick around another turn. Because that tough status is worth 2 damage and 2 threat. 3 threat is just worth 3 threat. think I just do... Okay, I could... How crazy is this? How crazy is Nick just attacks Black Widow? We re-roll here. Yes, okay, I think that's excellent, because otherwise Nick would be just attacking one of these to help Falcon finish it off. But now this might turn on battlefield awareness to help Falcon take one of these out on his own. So with that in mind, I'd rather just remove 3 from the main scheme. I mean, this is risky. If I hit another 0, I'm not killing either of these. Could always just have Winter Soldier take one out. So maybe I hedge here. So if I put a tough here, sorry about this. Not that hard of a, not that complicated of a situation to think this much about, but I could also just give him a tough, have him ready for a block. Okay, I need to hit 3 threat, I think. Part of it is just, I should take every opportunity I can to do threat removal, because that is the largest source of pressure this game. Oh, I didn't think about this. So if Nick attacks, we're gonna advance and put 3 more threat on the main scheme, which that's gonna be a loss right there. Unless I can get another 2 off. Yeah, tricky turn. Oh, but it's also gonna go up by 1 more because X is Black Widow's stage number. So, okay, I think that's off the table. Attacking Black Widow is off the table. So in that case, I will actually... Okay, yes, in this case I will just give Winter Soldier a tough instead of the 3 threat. Because now Nick and Winter Soldier can attack one of these. So Winter Soldier kills it, so that'll be 2 threat off the main scheme. Falcon, I mean, it's just crazy bad that this isn't a one boost card. But we've been getting lucky in other ways. So we'll end the turn there. Wish I could have got a bring it last turn. So 3 threat on the main scheme. Black Widow attacks. Nick Fury Sr. blocks an attack for 3. AIM Soldier attacks for 2. I'm just going to take it. And 2 cards. Advance is going to do it. So yeah, tough matchup. I mean, it's really fun. I don't think it's like, if I built a better deck, a non-aggression deck, it might feel a little bit trivial with being able to control the top card of the deck all the time. But I mean, I really like. I mean, it's a fun matchup with trying to solve that puzzle of like when do you advance it, when do you not. But there's just so much pressure on the main scheme. Like even attacking to remove threat, like it's still a pretty inefficient way to remove threat. So I'm proud that I really leaned into this honed technique dive bomb deck. But I really don't think it's going to be the way to go. So I've been tinkering with the deck a little bit, made a few other rules mistakes in some games, but I would be, there's probably a draw where this deck can get there, but I think it's an uphill battle. I think this is not a very well suited deck for solo heroic play. But I bet it's really sweet at a multiplayer table where someone else can deal with more of the threat. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this first look at Falcon. If you've got him in your hands already, hope you're having fun with him. Definitely does some interesting puzzly stuff, which is the kind of thing I like to look for in a hero. Lots of small decisions, how you're going to use aerial recon, what you're going to discard off the top with eagle-eyed versus with some of the events that count the icons from a card on the top. All right, yep, we'll call it there for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one as I try out Winter Soldier for the first time.